Welcome to another brand new episode of Undisputed Anime Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Zane Reed, aka Zane Taichou. And as always, I'm joined by my best friend and cousin this week. What? Susu Day, besto friendo. How you doing?
It's hot.
And I'm joined by the host of the Manga Attack podcast, Matt. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm not hot, so hopefully we'll balance each other out too.
I hope so. Give me that not hot energy. So manifest.
Cool, calm, collected.
Fan in the mic for you, my friend.
Thank you.
I guess that's worth caveating as well. By the way, if you hear any strange noises in the background, like any pauses, there may be a few fans blowing in the mic. We're going to try our best with noise reduction to try and get those out. But apologies.
If you listen carefully, there's one over here. There's one over here. There's one over here. One over here.
Like Oprah right now. You get a fan. You get a fan.
If we had the production like budget, like we would have had a camera in each of those places right then, like a POV for each of those fans.
I don't know. The POV of my fan is not gracious, but I'm gonna say that
mine's watching me like a pervert. So
I've only got a little one, and it's not turned on because, alas, we don't get a lot of uses for fans in Denmark. But I can just like spin it at the mic, maybe simulate that experience for you guys.
There you go. I feel part of it.
Matt, second time appearance on the podcast.
It is. Happy to be a guest for once. Sue once said to me a wise piece of information about, the workload of running a podcast. He's just like, just be a guest. And here I am, living that life.
It's great.
It's not too
happy
shabby.
to be here.
Good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, I thought it'd be good to kind of all pull together and talk about Anime Expo because there was like loads of announcements. And yeah, I thought it'd just be a good kind of back and forth between all of us. But before all of that, I just want to say Undisputed Anime Podcast is available on YouTube and a plethora of podcast services around the world. If you love what we do, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and leave a star rating as it'll help us out in a big bad way, as well as leave a comment. We did have a comment the other week actually about reviewing a anime series. So shout out to that person in the YouTube comments. But yeah, maybe it's something we'll do in the future.
Do
it. I'm gonna just have a little drink of White Monster right now.
Oh, you chasing the dragon?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sip the warm tea for the contrast.
to be fair, in true British fashion, I did come to this podcast having just drank a really piping hot cup of tea. So
built different.
I can't not have the tea. I just built into my DNA.
TNA more like.
This is why we get him. This is why he comes on the show.
This is it. This is it.
Yeah, for the zingers.
If you want those manga attack puns, like you gotta go podcast.
Yeah. Actually, just before we started recording, we were talking about gacha games. Has anyone dabbled in the horse racing girl gacha game yet? No,
I have not. There's a part of me that wants to very, do it as a joke just to see, but from my experience with gacha games, I'm a bit weak for them. So I really don't need another game on my plate right now because I accidentally end up liking something.
I was going to say, how many gachas do you currently have going, Mister? I'm going to play this game for a joke.
I have 2 that I play actually like a job. No, I don't play them like a job. I've got 2 that I play properly, and I've got 1 that I'm kind of playing just because, I am part of the demographic that, and the reason why Atlas keeps making Persona 5 games. So I am playing Persona 5X just because I'm actually quite interested to see where the story goes. But other than that, I'm just playing Star Rail and ZZZ.
Okay.
I don't need
Mm.
another. I do not need another.
See, I'm kind of on the precipice of jumping in because I've downloaded it, but I'm kind of like, this seems to have like captured people like a storm at the moment, and I'm like, oh, do I want to fall into this? Like, it looks kind of fun, and of course, it's a popular franchise. Like, I've heard people go into derbies now and are like, yeah, like showing their phones and rooting for their favorite anime horse girl.
It's like what happened with Akane Banashi in that all of a sudden they've revealed to us this subset of like Japanese like high culture and stuff like that, like this very very nuanced art form, and people suddenly got interested in it. And then on the other hand, you've got a game about anthropomorphic horse girls now getting people into horse racing.
Well, I mean, horse racing in Japan is a really big deal, and like there have been horse racing games for years and years and years, and like I'm sure this probably isn't the first horse racing gacha game. It's just the fact that it's got anime ladies in it that suddenly everyone's like, ah, yes, high culture. Get me some of those horse ladies.
It probably doesn't help as well that it has an anime series that has more frames than T-Bait and Blue Lock. So
There's no PNGs.
no, it's all like high-end animation and stuff. So
That's why you're
yeah.
gonna need that gacha money.
Mm-hmm.
I keep saying it. You keep seeing these like anime shorts that like Hoyoverse keeps putting out for Zen Zero Zone and like Star Rail, like and Genshin. Like these are like anime like series quality like little shorts, and I'm like, why? Please make an anime of these things.
Yeah, gosh. Should we get talking about Anime Expo?
Yeah, let's do it.
Why not?
Did you guys have any expectations or any kind of wild card predictions that you were expecting to come out of Anime Expo?
Personally, no, but I'm very much one of those people who every time there's the possibility of announcements coming out at a con or something, I'm always looking for like my outlying like faves. I'm waiting for them to say, "Hey, here's a Katekyo Hitman Reborn like reboot," or here we're gonna redo the first part of the Grey Man in the same like quality as the Grey Man Hollow and stuff like that. I'm looking for announcements like that, and those things very rarely come about for me.
How about you, Matt? Did you have any predictions?
I mean, to be fair, we talked about it a little bit off mic. Obviously, it being anime, I tend to obviously listen to the advice of my friends and peers, such as yourself, are going, oh, this one's really good. I had seen that there were some manga announcements out of 2024 Anime Expo, and so I was like, well, okay, let's see. Hopefully, with Comic Con kind of becoming more about films and media and culture, maybe some of that stuff starts to slip into Anime Expo. I wasn't disappointed. I did not guess any of the things that came out of it, and honestly, one of them, the financial ruin it's going to cause me, I am in great distress about, but we'll talk about that when we get to it, I guess.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, we'll do the anime stuff and then we'll do the manga stuff. How's that sound?
Sure. That works for me.
Yeah, magic. Right. So I'm going to pull from Polygon. There's an article here. Every big announcement from Anime Expo 2025. And I believe this is by Isaac Ruse. Here we go. So here's a rundown of the announcements. I guess one of the biggest ones, Cyberpunk Edgerunners 2. And what surprised me about this more specifically is that Studio Trigger is back.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they would come back. I knew there was going to be another Edgerunners anime, but I didn't think this was going to be another Studio Trigger. I thought it was going to be a new studio, new story. Well, it's going to be a new story, but
Did you think that they were going to like kind of like hand off the property to some like new different talent just to see what they came out with?
exactly a different studio, a bit like what they did with Star Wars Visions. Like all these
Yeah.
different studios have had like a play and stuff. So yeah, this really surprised me. What were your thoughts on this? Did any of you guys were like, oh, Trigger's back?
I'm gonna be so real with you. I've still not gotten around to watching Edge Runners.
Oh, what?
It's one of those situations where everyone was telling me I needed to watch it, so my brain went, "Well, now I'm not going to do that." I'm like a deer. I got spooks.
So I say this wholeheartedly. I think this is one of those cases where the reason everyone was going, "Oh my god, Edge Runner," is because Edge Runner is really, really good. Like, I think for me, I did not know there was a second season coming into play. I absolutely adore the work of Trigger, and the fact that it is them also coming back and it is not a new studio just is. I'm so excited. There's just so much visual eye candy and so many cool things in that first season that I can't wait to see what they do with the second and hopefully a bigger budget. Let's go. Honestly,
Nope.
I can't wait.
Looks like
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing today.
The crazy thing is, because it's 12 episodes, you could probably watch it all in a weekend as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be the summer breakup you wasn't expecting. Like your heart. I'm gonna probably cry just thinking about it, to be honest, because that first season is the worst breakup I ever went through.
It's fine. It's fine. I've seen the memes. I know of the shawarma mods. It's fine.
I mean, honestly, who would have thought that Trigger would turn Franz Ferdinand's Fire into the greatest anime opening theme song of all time?
Yeah, one of many, like, crazy. One of the crazy aspects of that whole anime series as well is like, yeah, Franz Ferdinand as an anime opening.
And it works.
It's not too shabby. It's not too shabby. This is a 10-episode series, separated from season 1. I guess what would be interesting as well is to see if this kind of correlates with the DLC, because that's supposed to be pretty cool and stuff. So yeah, really looking forward to hearing more about this one. Free Ren Beyond Journey's End season 2 also got a trailer as well.
I got nothing bad to say. Like,
Yeah.
I was actually waiting for a longer wait, to be fair, and it's already a pretty long wait. I wasn't expecting it to be like early 2026.
Yeah, it's good to see Madhouse is still behind it as well. Again, same studio and all that jazz, and yeah, it's hopefully. I guess it'd be interesting to see how many people come back to it, how many new people start it as well, because knowing that some people missed out the first time round, and I think that might be some of the reason why Solo Leveling was so popular. But yeah, Matt, any thoughts on Free Ren coming back?
So, having spent an ungodly amount of money on figures and trinkets of Free Ren in a recent Japan trip, I'm very excited. It is the only anime that my wife, who is not a big fan of anime, asks me constantly when's the second season of that out. So it will definitely be day one viewing in our house, which I'm very excited for. And yeah, I've read beyond the journey's end in terms of season 1 into the manga, and I know it goes really cool places. So I can't wait to see them animated.
I'm in the opposite sort of end of that. Whereas I finished season 1 and I was like, I've really enjoyed this experience. I'm not going to spoil it for myself by reading ahead in the manga. So I don't know what's coming up next. So
Honestly, had it not been such a long wait, I think I would have held out too. Because honestly, I've got some trepidation about knowing what's going to happen. As you know, whereas the first time around, there was a blank slate, and I got to experience it through the anime. I still really like the manga though, so I'm really looking forward to what comes in season 2. And I think you won't be disappointed. Is all I'll say.
excellent.
Manga wise, isn't it like 20 volumes?
So I think we have 12 in English at the moment, which goes a bit beyond what season 1 did. I think it's somewhere in the 18 to 20 range. Yeah, I know there's been a couple of hiatuses actually in the last year or two that have kind of slowed it down a little bit. But yeah, it's up there. It's getting there in volume count at least.
this is going to sound crazy, but this is probably one of my favorite dubs as well. I really love the dub version of this. So I think the wait might be like a couple of weeks more for me because I just want to experience the dub version again. I really like it.
It is. I did watch a couple of episodes dubbed because I was too tired to read. And I wasn't. I say this a lot. I say this a lot on the show these days. Is like I'm trying to give like dubbed anime more of a chance these days because it's like my negative experiences come from the industry being just bad at doing it when I was younger, and now it's actually like a very credible industry that people want to do a good job at like adapting it. So there's a lot of work put in, and got some great voice actors doing the Lord's work.
Hmm. I think we started dubbed, and I think we switched to subs just because my wife didn't want to wait for the episodes to come out, and she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, but I can watch them if I read. Okay, I'll do that." But I mean, this dub, I think also Delicious in Dungeon, which was out around the same time, or at least we were watching it around the same period. Both excellent dubs. Actually, I will make a confession on this podcast. I've been watching Dandadan dubbed. I like the English
Yeah.
dub of Dandadan, so I've been
I've
enjoying it
done
that way
both.
too.
I did watch subbed, and then I rewatched it dubbed. I really enjoyed that.
That's got a great cast, great voice cast. That one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess going a little on a tangent, there was that report that came out this week about how Netflix said like 50% of its anime watchers or something are watching dub, which is great because again, I think not only does it show like the voice acting has stepped up a lot, and I guess a lot of the voice actors are fans of these as well. Like it's been a generational shift in terms of there's a lot of new young voice actors who grew up watching Dragon Ball Z and are kind of understanding certain Japanese aspects as well, and incorporating words like senpai and stuff as well, right? So yeah. What else have we got on this list? Ooh, Black Clover season 2. This one, this one was really interesting because like a couple of days before there was like leaks of like a poster and all sorts of different images and stuff. So yeah, this was kind of wild. What were your thoughts on these?
I have enjoyed historically the manga. I watched through the anime in its entirety, but I think the anime, yeah, it had its ups and its downs in terms of quality. That said, I will watch this because his like, are we looking at like 1,000 year like blood war sort of like jump up? Because like what's left of the story is probably only about arc, from what I understand. Um, But again, with Black Clover, like as a manga reader, I'm kind of lost at where we're at because the release cadence for it is so sporadic, like it's so spaced out at the moment that I think it's going to be one of those things that is going to need to be read in post to actually fully enjoy it. Because getting two chapters every 6 months is like hard to keep track of things.
Is it every 6 months? Yeah, yeah. Because I remember at one stage it was quarterly.
Yeah,
and that wasn't even. And some people were speculating that it would be like 2 chapters merge into one, so that kind of makes up for. But I don't think it even got to that stage, right? I think it was still 20 something pages.
yeah, we're not getting like we don't get super long chapters. It's like,
Mm.
but it's still picking up exactly where it left off. So it's kind of like I don't remember what happened 6 months ago. It's like,
Is that to do with the health of the mangaka, or what is the reason behind it?
I think it was a health thing. I think he was yes, the workload was like killing him to be dramatic about it. I think. I mean, let me fact check that just now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard rumors about a workload, and it was one of the reasons why it shifted. Because I think it even shifted to Square. Is it Square something?
Yeah, Jump magazines.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was because the workload was giving him health issues. Doesn't not going to dive into too deeply what that is. Like being a mangaka is like extremely hard work. So especially in a place like Japan where obviously they've got proper rise and grind like work culture, haven't they? So
Matt, any thoughts on Black Clover season 2?
To be honest, again, I'll wait and see how good it is. As Sue said, I haven't experienced it. Obviously, I know Sue is a fan of the manga, and so I've picked up the first volume. Still haven't read it. Waiting for a podcast excuse to, and maybe I'll get into it then. But honestly, I'd heard such middling things and such things about the quality in the first season that I'd never bothered to watch it, even though I was kind of tempted to. So let's see if season 2 gets better.
So I have a bit of a recency history with this, because I watched all of season 1 last year, and it feels like it was very much a week-to-week anime until it got cancelled, because it did this thing where it felt like the budget was held out for like it's always like 12 episodes or 20 episodes. It's like, this is the episode with all the animation and stuff, where it just kind of felt very kind of, there's those episodes in Naruto where they're just jumping from tree branch to tree branch, just talking, and you get like 3 of those, and then you get a fight. It was very much, it felt kind of like that, if you know what I mean.
yeah, no, absolutely. They really work. It's like season 1 was 52 episodes, and that covered almost like the majority of the arcs that are written. I think it's only like the final like 2 arcs maybe that are not animated yet. If I mean, I could be like getting that completely wrong, but like it felt like they were trying to use the same formula as like Bleach and One Piece and like Naruto had back in the day, where it's like every single week you get your new episodes.
It's weird because I can't tell the difference between if there was filler episodes or not, just because it had that formula. But with the announcement of season 2, I'm excited because Studio Parrot have had some internal changes. Now there's like a whole department dedicated to Bleach, and doing the Lord's work there. Hopefully that means that this other department can, take their time and do what they need to do with Black Clover. I think originally it was slated for a 2026 date, but I've seen that been redacted a few places. So even in this article, it says release unknown, just in production. So yeah, it feels like this was a very, very early announcement down the line sort of thing. Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War arc, of course, Studio Parrot coming in 2026. I think this might be the final part.
It's I think it actually says just above final season.
Final season. There we go.
I don't really have a lot to say about it because consistently I've just enjoyed it. I think that they've really, really smashed it. So
Loved the first season. Haven't got Disney Plus. Waiting for it all to finally be there so I can just binge watch it all in one go. So
yeah, good shout.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting because all the episodes feel movie quality. Like there's just so much jammed into them. I might rewatch it dub. I haven't watched it dubbed yet, so I might do that. I might go back and rewatch it dub leading up to it, because I know part of the promotion of the first part is that they got Johnny Bosch to repronunciate Bankai, because his pronunciation's always been Bankai, when the Japanese voice actor for Ichigo is like, no, it's Bankai. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how it changes in the dub version now.
To be fair, you've always got the do not know what happened then. I couldn't speak currently. You've got the core memory of being in a room at New York Comic Con and seeing the first episode, haven't you? So
and destroying my voice box at the same time.
Yeah, you're forever gonna have this like colored favorably for you because of that one moment.
Yeah. Again, as a Bleach longtime fan, it was everything I hoped for, really. But yeah, gosh, that video I did after where I'm like, I've just seen Bleach and it was amazing. As I'm in like what's his name? Bishop cosplay.
Yeah, tears streaming down your face.
It's sweating like crazy. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there are much worse animes to have this kind of like bias for, though, right? Like,
Yeah,
imagine
absolutely.
you'd gone in and just be like, I just seen Blue Lock 2 and it was magical.
Can't wait for you guys to see it.
Here's a static image. It was like this. Oh, they did Blue Lock dirty. I'm so sorry. I love
So
that
did I.
manga.
Gosh, yeah.
I think my daughter's been watching Blue Lock. So
Have you
don't think
noticed
she's
an
at season 2
uptick?
yet.
Clearly, have you noticed an uptick in the swearing in your household?
No, she's currently watching Naruto from the beginning with her boyfriend.
Ooh.
And she's really into Junji Ito at the moment, to the point where she really like pulled at my heartstrings, and I ended up buying her like the Tomy Deluxe like black edition
Ooh.
volume because she did okay and she did well in her exams. So, and now she's like, when are you going to get me Uzumaki? That's a really nice Junji Ito t-shirt you've got there, Dad. Can I have it? And I'm kind of like, I'm in that annoying place now where it's like, I really want to capitalize on this and get her to like it more and more so that it doesn't like fizzle out. But I also really like that t-shirt.
Oh, the father's dilemma.
I know. I'm really. It's nice. I've gone from a year ago not being able to relate to her on any media to now we're standing in the kitchen talking about like anime. It's a weird situation to be in, like all of a sudden. Yeah, dreams do come true, guys.
Talking of dreams and conversations, Apothecary Diaries sequel has been announced. This is really huge. I haven't watched it, but this seems to be everywhere at the moment. Have either of you guys watched season 1 or read the manga?
It's up top of my list. I've just not had the time.
Same. It's one of these things that I just come highly recommended to me by a load of people. I just haven't got around to it yet because I think it's one of those books that when I start, I'm gonna have to plow through the entire series, and space is an issue at the moment. Let's just say that.
It's funny you should mention like about the manga as well, because I've heard there's like variants in terms of different mangas. Like like when Attack on Titan was popular, and there was like 4 different variants at the same time.
Mhm.
I've heard a similar thing about Apothecary Diaries, and it's like there's one that's dedicated just to the anime, and there's like the light novel books, and there's a manga that's based off the light novel book sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it again seems hugely popular at the moment.
I think it's a strange one as well because I think each different medium, to your point, Zane, is also kind of targeted at a different demographic. I think a lot of people were quite upset when the manga first launched and it was aimed at shonen, whereas the light novels are technically shoujo. And so I
Yeah.
think that has also created this weird muddiness around it, that there's different tones and different things happen in the different medium, but I'm still curious to check it out. I'm not going to read a light novel. I'm sorry. It's just not how I roll. I've tried. I just can't do it. So I'm going to look at the manga and then I'll probably watch the anime if it's any good with the wife.
Good stuff. Yeah, I think it's on Netflix here in Europe, but I think overseas it's mainly Crunchyroll. So definitely an interesting one.
How do you feel about this thing?
Mashoko Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Season 3 has been announced. Yeah, I haven't finished Season 2 is the honest answer, because yeah, I do again. I was waiting for the dub version, but I do love the animation. That's usually what brings me in, and I do like the fantasy world part of it as well. So yeah, it's it's weird because a lot of the a lot of my isekais I'm behind on because there's Hero season 4 has just started, and I went to start it, and I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on. That might be because I haven't watched season 3. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind on the isekai buffet right now.
Are you waiting to be reborn into another world in which you can watch all the isekai?
Possibly. It's funny. I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and because I watched Wicked for the first time this week, and I was like, "Is the Wizard of Oz an isekai?"
Yeah, kind of.
That is cool, yeah.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch! I think you're right. And I was like, "Yeah, it's weird how we've got this long history of isekais like this: The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe,
Top tier isekai.
Mhm.
The Black Knight with Martin Lawrence. Yeah, Page Master. Yeah,
Page Master.
isekais have always been around.
We crave the people crave the isekai.
Exactly. But yeah, Studio Buying have always done a great job, and yeah, dare I say, I look forward to a season 3 to see where they go with this storyline and such. How about you guys? Have you kind of dropped jobless? Have you ever dabbled in it, Matt?
No, you know me. I have no horses in the isekai race. I'm more likely to play Horse Lady Gacha than to watch this. I'm sorry.
I tried the manga several times.
Hmm.
And I found this might just be where I've read to. Maybe it stops being like this. Maybe it doesn't. But I find that like it starts off really interesting. It's all your like typical isekai fare. I'm like, okay, I'm well into this, and then all of a sudden, the main character is a bit of a latcher
Mm.
and stuff like that. And I'm kind of, and I like I said, like I've kind of like moved away from a lot of like manga and anime like that because I'm like I just don't hit how it did when I was like younger
Yeah.
anymore, and it's like I'm it sucks away some of the enjoyment for me. I mean, like isekais, a lot of, one of the massive tropes of it is like the harem and stuff like that. But I feel like in this, it's like pretty like gratuitous,
Yeah.
and stuff, and I think that that's sucking away a bit of the enjoyment for me.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a huge sort of conversation piece around. I know I'm staring into the camera there because I was spacing out. But there's a lot to be said about the character of Rudius and how him being in this isekai world has pulled out almost like the worst parts of his character, and such, and how there hasn't been anything that's kind of kept him in check or reformed him as such. So yeah, it's a huge conversational piece, intentionally or non-intentionally. I don't know. The only one who could say is the mangaka, but yeah, it is an interesting aspect of the whole story as well, because it's again a fantastic, beautiful world, but it seems to bring the worst parts of this main character out and such. Go ahead.
I was just trying to see because I know that this book is published by Seven Seas, and I was just trying to see if it was on the Ghost Ship imprint or not, which tends to be where the more ecchi lean in isekai goes. But I could not see it at a glance on the website, so I will just throw it up in the air that it does not surprise me that the main character in an isekai is a bit lechy. It's all I will say.
Just stand by for the future Zane isekai. It'll be fine. Reborn into a fantasy world where I use my podcasting skills to become the hero DJ.
The hero DJ,
Yes.
like I'm Idris Elba.
How it's your story.
I was
Tell
going
how
to say,
you
it's
wish.
your isekai, man. It's whatever you want.
I'll sell it to Webtoons. I'll get an artist. ReZero season 4, another isekai, one that I'm not a huge fan of. Coming to Crunchyroll. Anyone into ReZero?
Nope.
Again,
No.
it's one of those things where it's like I know how hugely popular it is. We talked about it a ton when we were doing the awards.
Yeah.
Because I had some, even though I don't watch it, I did have some expectations of its success.
Mm.
It's another one of those ones where I've always wanted to start it, and I've just never gotten around to start it. Don't really know a ton about it. As a result, I've not looked into it. So it's like I'm hoping that one day it'll end up being something that I'll have time and I'll really enjoy. Because I've heard I've heard it having quite a dark story in a lot of aspects. But whether I get there or not, we'll see.
What about you, Matt? Any thoughts on ReZero?
No, it's one of these things that on Japan trips I've seen merchandise for it, and I've seen it quite prominently placed in places like Animate. But again, it's just I don't know. I'm not the biggest anime watcher in the first place, and again, an isekai, I'm just like it doesn't do anything for me. Also, just for what I've seen of the character design and all this kind of stuff, I'm just like, I can kind of tell at a glance this isn't going to be my cup of tea. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this fourth season will drop, it'll get a lot of hype, and then I'll be forced to watch it and come back on this podcast and apologize, but I just don't think it's going to be for me.
Yeah, I've tried to watch it a couple of times. I think it might be one of those cases where, like, for example, Overlord, I wasn't hot on it when it first came out, and then I watched it a couple of years later, and I was like, oh, actually, like, there is something here that I'm really interested in. And ReZero, again, every time I've attempted to watch it, I could see the dark tone that it's trying to set, but it's just everything else I'm not crazy about. So yeah, again, maybe next year I'll probably sit down and give it a good.
Make some time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But at the moment, yeah, it's a pass for me. This one I was very very shocked about. I I'm not gonna even try to pronounce the name, but it's Daemons of the Shadow Realm. Got announced to have its own anime by Studio Bones. This comes from the same creator of Full Metal Alchemist, which is, again, I think one of the reasons why it might be. I might be jumping the gun a little bit here, but this manga series had only started like a handful of years ago, and it's already getting an anime before things like Kagurabachi and some other popular sort of mangas that are happening right now. Matt, have you read the manga?
I have. I have read the first 7 volumes. I think the 8th one just came out. It's a series I've honestly contemplated dropping. There's a lot I like about Demons of the Shadow Realm, but I don't know. I think for me, Arakawa's work, as much as I love her world and characters, has some pacing issues. Like it can feel very fast and very slow, and like there's never a consistency there for me. And I feel that in Demons of the Shadow Realm, it's got an interesting premise. I think actually an animation may potentially elevate the storytelling and kind of trim some of that fat away. So I'd be curious to watch it. But again, it's not a series that I'm in a mad rush to talk about on the podcast. I like the first volume, but it's been one of those things that, again, I've debated dropping a couple of times because it's just not hitting the way I want it to.
Absolutely. Susu Day, have you read the manga?
I've not. Again, it's one of those ones that's actually on my list to read, but I've never gotten around to it. I think that for the announcement of the anime, I'm a little more excited in that having watched Moonrise, I didn't realize how badly I missed that kind of like Full Metal Alchemist style of animation, and that art style. And the author, I've always known them to be a great storyteller. While the case might be true, like Matt is saying that the pacing might be a bit weird. I think I'd still like to give it good shot. It looks beautiful, and as he said, like often when an anime comes out, they will have the opportunity to kind of like trim some of that fat and tidy up some of the like threads that maybe don't make as much sense as they were written.
Well, I mean, I think Bones have just done it with Gachi Akuta, right? Like, I think there is proof in the pudding, which is, again, a series that I recently dropped. I actually really excited to see Bones take it as an anime because I think they're making some smart choices in the changes they're making. So let's see what happens here. And obviously, they are the studio behind Brotherhood, right? Which is arguably one of the best anime of all time, in my opinion. Sorry, small
Absolutely.
bias there. So let's
Can't
see.
argue
No.
with that. So
I think the internet will agree with you, Matt. I don't think you'll get too much backlash there. Yeah, I agree with everything you say there. I think with Studio Bones, hopefully, and having a director and stuff, they can really draw out certain moments and make them feel big, and like you say, hopefully give a little bit more consistency with the pacing. The only I'm at a weird point in the moment because as Sue mentioned, I saw Moon Rising. I've also watched Aslan about a year or two ago, which is the same art style because it was adapting historical historical stories or
it
something.
was a heroic tale of Aslan or something like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
yeah. Which of course is using the same art style and stuff. So kind of like it feels like I've seen two projects already that haven't kind of given me the Full Metal feel that I'm kind of expecting. So yeah, that I'm kind of like at a weird point, but I'm kind of again, I am interested and excited to see how they adapt this.
Do you think we're in that kind of weird place where, and this happens every now and then, where um, someone does such a good job, like an anime or a manga sets such a high bar
Mhm.
that anything that comes after it never meets the expectation?
It could well be the case. I honestly do think of Arakawa's works that I've read. I've read a little bit of Aslan the manga as well, and Silver Spoon, which is obviously never going to be anywhere close to Full Metal because it's a slice of life about running a farm. But I would say of the works, I think Demon of the Shadow Realm starts to at least scratch that Full Metal itch for me. So, like, again, I could see that, but also I have to say, hand on heart, at the moment, the first couple of volumes I don't think are as good as Full Metal. So you might be right too. Maybe it is one of those things where they're trying to recreate that success, and what they should be doing is trying to do something new. But then again, they did that with Silver Spoon, and it's a book that nobody talks about. So
It's I sometimes refer to it as like the Star Wars effect. Like you end it on Return of the Jedi, and then when Phantom Menace is announced and stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's going to be like X," and then Menace comes out, and it's like, "Why?" But then in reflection, it's kind of like, "Oh, this is for a different audience. This is with history on its side. This actually looks much better than it did at the time," sort of thing. So I guess it's kind of like one of those things that
Time often does tell and stuff. It really
Yeah.
does, because like you gotta like think about how some people aren't able to tell the stories that they want to tell at the time that they're able to tell them. I think that a good example of this, and some people might disagree, some people might agree, is the changes that were made between the original Final Fantasy VII and the remakes.
Mhm.
Whereas obviously a lot of people, there's people who don't like a lot of changes that were made for the remakes in terms of how the story was told. But the original creators come out and said, if I had been able to tell the story like this originally, I would have told the story like this. It's just that this is what I was working with at the time. It's kind of like, that's, you got to kind of work within your means, haven't you?
yeah, absolutely. I think there's also the thing that potentially we, as people who are super into anime and manga, kind of forget is that historically creators aren't followed by name in the same way that your Kojimas or your raconteur creators or directors are in the West, and especially in Japan. Like, people like Clamp have had very high highs, but then they've had series that they've tried to launch and no one's cared about because no one's going there for Clamp. It's the IP, it's Cardcaptor Sakura, it's X that people care about. It's not actually Clamp.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe that's been a bit of a blessing and a curse for Arakawa in some respects that I think to a Western audience is probably going to be marketed as, hey, this is from the creator and the studio behind Full Metal Alchemist. But that doesn't always ring true, right? And as you say, it kind of also sells them short in a little bit because then they're forced to be compared to their previous work that in this case was, a big cultural touchstone for people, especially in the West, who were getting into anime and manga in the early 2000s.
That was a great point. Um, Fist of the North Star remake. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I have. I don't care. It's Fist of the North Star. Give me that Hokuto Shinken, please.
I'm gonna jump in and give it a go.
Yeah.
Gonna see how I get on with it. It's time for a different flavor. Gotta can't always be eating the same foods. I gotta try new things.
Don't get me wrong. Do I absolutely love the look and the amount of CG that is in that trailer? Not particularly. Do I know that the story is an absolute banger and probably one of my favorite mangas? Absolutely. So give it to me. I don't care. I would honestly, it could be 3 frames a second. I would still watch it. I am completely on board. Fist of the North Star.
Wow. That surprises me. I thought you'd be outraged by the quality shown in the trailer. No.
No, don't get me wrong. It could be a lot better. I will still, again, bad art can go a long way into making me not like something, or in this case, bad animation. If the story and how it was told is there, then I'll be very interested. Don't get me wrong. Do I hope that the reaction to this trailer, the amount of people I've seen absolutely tearing this apart, will force them to maybe go give some of those things a second pass? Hopefully. I'm still going to watch it. It's Fist of the North Star, man. I can't help it. Like, I literally is one of the few books I've covered on the podcast and immediately read the whole series. So it's just fun. It's just a fun series. Gratuitously violent, but very silly and very fun.
See, I don't know too much about it. I know it from memes and being a JoJo fan. Like, there's a lot of inspiration from Fist of the North Star and stuff. So it surprises me that to celebrate its 40th anniversary, they've opted to go CG based and stuff. That surprised me more than anything. But I'm looking forward to being, surprised by it and kind of jumping in, really. Yeah, more than anything. Interesting stuff. Talking of bad animation, Record of Ragnarok Season 3 is
Didn't you
coming
watch Season 1
December.
and 2?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah. It's coming to Netflix December 2025. Has anyone seen or read the manga?
You tried to
No.
get me to watch Season 1. You kept telling me it's like you like keep with it. It's like really fun. And I just never got around to it.
Isn't
Yeah.
the core conceit of this that it's just like one-on-one fighting between different gods from different mythologies, or is that something else?
No, you're 100% right. It's annoying because it's a huge tournament arc. So you're kind of like, like every anime has a good tournament arc, and this is a tournament arc through and through, and it has, like you said, heroes and gods and demigods from mythological history, etc., etc. And it's just such bad animation, and it's annoying.
Well, it does say here. It does say here that the series is under the direction of someone who was known under Deadman Wonderland and Tokyo Revengers. So viewers can expect more dynamic visual experience and fewer PowerPoint style scenes.
Fewer PowerPoint star scenes, man. That's the most scathing thing I've ever heard.
I know.
It's the best way to describe it, because it's kind of like there's a fight between Adam, as in biblical Adam, Old Testament, versus Odin of the gods, and it's just kind of like click, slideshow, click, and you're just kind of like,
PNG lock all
"Oh,
over again.
this could have been so good.
Netflix, you have money.
So yeah, it's a sad time, but there we go.
I'm just staring into space, looking at manga panels, going, maybe I should read this.
The manga is amazing. Like the art style in that is absolutely fantastic. I want to say there's 18 volumes currently, 16. That's why I was really excited when it got announced. But
I'm going to say this to you, Zane. If you like big godlike characters beating the crap out of each other, let me introduce you to a little book called Fist of the North Star.
yes, I'm looking forward to it.
The first thing I'm seeing here for Record of Ragnarok, or when I googled it, is Record of Ragnarok Season 3 doomed?
Yeah, Season 2 was not great. It was Jack the Ripper versus Hercules was a weird thing to watch.
Oh, I'm on board.
Look on your face.
Sold a manga immediately.
Yeah, read it, don't watch it.
Jack the Ripper versus Hercules.
That's got the same energy, like not like tournament art, but I was ages and ages ago. I was watching an anime, which some people might remember, called Nobunaga.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, like, spoiler alert, the big spoiler was the fact that like Jack the Ripper was Florence Nightingale.
Wow.
And she was like an angel of death, like that. And she was, but it was like she was doing it for a reason. She was doing it to save the world from this threat, but she had to like I can't remember. There was a lot going on. You know, Nobunaga was in it. He was like the main. You know, he was like the heroic soul of the main character. It's wild. Anyway.
Yeah, it just to caveat as well. With the end of season 1, they announced the fight, so they're like Jack the Ripper versus Hercules, and it then ends, and the whole sort of arena changes. So it gives like kind of Bloodborne, like Hercules is stepping into foggy London at night, and it's kind of again Jack the Ripper is a knife wielding duelist, shall we say?
Does he sound like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins? Because that's the only way this could be made better. If he's just like,
oh, look at that mustache.
I think I want to say it's kind of like it's a little bit more like Sebastian in Black Butler, where it's like, good evening.
Oh, okay. You've ruined it for me. I'm going to read the book now instead of watch 3 frames of animation.
Okay, I'm on the wiki for it right now, and I'm looking at the picture of Jack the Ripper, and I'm then seeing the age underneath, and something doesn't make sense here because that says he's 27 in the case files, and that's not a 27-year-old. Actually, no, that is a 27-year-old man, like who's gone through it. This is someone who's worked their whole life in the sun.
Is it just like one of those pictures when you see Hulk Hogan when he's 30, and like it's like this is what it was like to be 30 in the 80s, and he looks like my grandfather? Yeah, it's probably that.
Yeah, they kind of make him a little sexy as well by giving him the white hair, Gojo-esque.
That mustache.
I was going to say he looks like Light from Death Note with a mustache.
Yes.
Makes sense if you think about it. That's more plausible than Florence Nightingale for me. If Jack the Ripper was actually a character from Death Note.
Yeah, that's plausible.
The last thing on this list is Beastar's final season, Part 2, releasing in 2026 on Netflix by Studio Orange. Any Beastar readers or watchers here?
I'm not an enjoyer, but my sister-in-law is, so I'm sure she will be hyped as hell.
I have never seen it. I've heard mixed things, is what I will say. Some people really like it. Some people are really off put by the fact that the characters are animals and there's fan service.
Yeah,
Again,
that's why I've not watched it.
To be honest, the main reason I'm curious about Beastars is because I realized that the mangaka is the daughter of the Baki the Grappler
Yes.
mangaka, and I'm just like, oh, I need to see this. I need to see where this lineage goes.
It feels like a weird place to be because I'm kind of like, it feels like it's towing the line between furry.
I mean,
As
I
hard
played
as it
Star Fox
can.
Adventures. It's fine. It's not for me. I won't yuck anyone's yum. If you're into that, go for it. Godspeed is what I'll say. If the
Yeah.
story's good, I will give it a look.
Yeah. I started the first season. Have to admit, the opening is really good because they use stop animation. But I'm not a huge romance guy, so it didn't really click with me. So yeah, I dropped it. But it's good to see that it's the whole complete series is there. That's what I will say. Is like anyone who does like this, at least they're getting a completed series that they
Go
can.
for it.
Yeah. Which is probably more to say about the industry at the moment than it is like that we had a 5-year gap between Black Clover's part 1 and now we're finally getting the rest of it, and then God knows 20 odd years for Bleach to finally get animated and stuff. So yeah, big things happening. Matt, did you want to run through some manga stuff that got announced?
I mean, to be honest, like the main things for me were, I'll give a brief overview of some of this stuff because I think there was a lot of interesting things announced. I think the one that I'm surprised wasn't on that was that we actually got a second teaser trailer for the new Science Saru / Masamune Shiro Ghost in the Shell anime, which admittedly
Yeah.
just the tiniest little teaser, but as someone who just went to literally go to Japan to look at his artwork in person, I'm surprised it isn't on that Polygon list.
I wonder as well. There's been a lot of Ghost in Shell, I don't know, projects over the last couple of years that have had like diminishing returns. Do you think this could change that?
I hope so. I mean, for me, obviously, the Sansari did an absolutely incredible job with Dan Dan. I think the old manga entertainment / like OVA of Ghost in the Shell is obviously something that I think we probably all experienced at a tender young age, going to HMV and going, "Ooh, there's an anime DVD. What is this?" And going like, "What is this?"
The
when we
one
actually see
anime
it. Yeah.
DVD.
That and Akira. I really like Masamune Shiro's Worlds. I really like the first Ghost in the Shell. I've never read the second. I've heard very mixed things about it. I hear Standalone Complex tried to be a closer anime adaptation to the original manga, but I also just love Science Saru's stuff visually, and so I'm very curious to see it. Kodansha have also announced that they're doing a legacy edition of this, which is going to be a new Ghost in the Shell box set that contains the first one, 1.5, and Ghost in the Shell 2.0. It's going to be uncensored for what it's worth. Essentially, there are like 3 pages that are pretty much hentai in the original release of Ghost in the Shell that were cut from Dark Horse's release because they don't really add anything to the plot. Got a whole podcast talking about that. But these editions are gorgeous. They're also coming with these 10 art prints that were with a 1997 edition of the manga, and they have lots of like foiling and neon splash colors and stuff. And I'm like, they look good in a frame, so I'm gonna pick them up. Have either of you read Ghost in the Shell? Just out of interest.
Not now.
Not read, no, only the movies.
Should. I think the manga is excellent. It's also very, very, very funny, which you would not expect based on the films. Yes, a lot of humor in it.
Wow.
Like,
honestly, I was really debating just coming out here and saying that my favorite Ghost in the Shell was the one with Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, Scarlett Johansson. But
hey,
that would just have been a lie, absolutely. So,
I mean, I'm glad for you, but again, if that's what you're into, I'm not going to yuck you up.
you're a very
No,
respectful person.
well, I mean, who am I? I'm not an arbiter of taste, right? I can't tell people like you're wrong to like something you like. If you like it, you like it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was some other stuff. Sue, for you in particular, did you see that Kodansha is going to be doing new 2-in-1 editions of the shoujo manga Mars?
I had not, but that's very interesting. Maybe
Uh-huh.
it's time to get back on the physical copies train.
Comes in nice hardback editions. There's some glittery covers, kind of similar to what they've been doing with Parasite recently.
Maybe
It
I could
looks nice.
justify it if I just be like, I'm getting it so that my daughter can read it. That's it.
Oh, now I see. This is the real parent stream.
This
It's
is
just
the
like,
end
I
game.
can justify this purchase for my child and then read it myself.
Yeah, I'm just trying to educate her. Just get her into some good stuff.
That's fair. There's also Shugo Chara, a Peach Pit manga by them, shoujo title. I've heard a lot of people like Peach Pit. I've never experienced their work. Kind of looks a bit cutesy. They're also doing a kind of card captor Sakura thing in that they've re-released the original in these new editions because Peach Pit has just done a sequel series like Card Captor Clear. So I wonder if that will be anything that I will take a look at and go, oh, actually, I completely didn't understand that I liked this, and now I'm totally on board and it's got a sequel series. The one thing that I mentioned up front, and you gentlemen have probably read it, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts, is after years and years of it being out of print and me finally buying the last 2 volumes I needed to complete the run of this out of print series, Yen will be doing a Battle Royale Deluxe Edition. It'll come in a hardcover. It'll have a new translation that is not garbage like the Tokyo Pop one is. And yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed since I just finally got volume 9 and 10 and they cost me like 40 quid. And here we go. New deluxe editions that are going to have a better translation and probably be better printed and probably look nicer on the shelf.
That's the danger of being a collector of any kind, though, isn't it? It's, all it takes is one announcement, and you question your choices.
100%. Have either of you read Battle Royale?
I have, yeah, a long time ago, and it it's those awful like Tokyo Pop like prints. I've not read the full series. I've maybe read like the first 2 or 3 volumes. When I probably did that standing or sitting in a Waterstones.
I definitely did. That's why I read Battle Royale the first time.
I went and bought got to get a coffee from the coffee shop upstairs and sit and read a pile of books that I'm not going to buy. Is what I used to do.
What about you, Zane?
Not really, no. But I was a huge defender of it when Hunger Games, the movie, was coming out. And I was like, no, this. Well, yeah, I won't go into the.
This has already been done. This has been 10 minutes.
But I was like, I know there's a much better version of this out there called Battle Royale.
It's fine. Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, I've never read the novel. Like it's a novelization into a manga, into a movie. Like as with Apothecary Diaries, right? There's lots of twisting, turning bits of Battle Royale, and there's been loads of spin-offs. I love the original manga, same as Sue. Like some of my earliest manga buying memories were not having enough money to buying this and just sitting in Waterstones reading it because it was so prominent at the time, especially in South Wales. So I'm looking forward to buying it all over again now.
I'm waiting for the screen behind you to fall down and just to see this like massive pile of like unkept books.
No, you will never see behind the screen. Trust me, it is a mountain of terror and unread books. But yeah, it's all neatly stacked at least.
Unlike mine.
Yeah. I think that's it, to be honest with you. I mean, there were some other noticeable titles I can just whiz through super quickly. Titan is putting out Mamoru Nagano's 5-Star Stories, which is a sci-fi manga from the 80s that's been notoriously difficult to buy because it was released in a weird format when it was come out in English. The Square Enix is putting out the Final Fantasy IX picture book in May next year, which is VV story that's beautifully animated on YouTube. Manga Mavericks, a friend of Bank Attack Podcast, they have their own podcast. They are now in publishing. They're doing a book called My First Time in Taiwan, which is a travel log, and we never get any of those in English, so very excited about that. And yeah, I think in a nutshell, that's it. Oh, and Udon is doing Macross Frontier, which is a spin-off of the Macross franchise that notably we don't really get a lot of in English because of Harmony Gold owning the rights and putting it out as Robotech. So
Yes.
happy to get anything to do with Macross in English. So shout out to Udon for making that happen.
Did I see? I think I did. A deluxe edition of that. Is it wrong to pick up Girls in Dungeon?
Oh yeah, so I don't think that was announced. I think that's just come out. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Big chunky volume. This is the thing, right? Even everyone is doing that. Mars is that way, Battle Royale is that way. I think anything that is a legacy manga now, or anything that is really beloved, seems to be getting this hardcover treatment. I don't know why, honestly. I'm not a person who wants a giant book. I want them to be as small as possible so I can fit more on
I
the
find them
shelf.
quite unwieldy when they're like when especially even the same for the paperback like omnibus editions where it's like you get like 3 volumes in one. I find them a bit like cumbersome to read. Like I'd rather just keep having the single volume. Nice. It's like for better or worse, a single volume manga is like the perfect size for like a comfortable read.
I completely agree. I think I was recently talking about this on the podcast because spoilers, by the time this comes out, the episode will be out, so it's fine. We were talking about Death Note, and my co-host on that episode, Tom, had the all-in-one edition of Death Note, which is like a Bible. It's all of the series crammed into one thing, and he's like, it's the most difficult book I've ever tried to read because it's just really unwieldy and it's really heavy. So he usually reads books on trains and he couldn't do it. But we did get into a conversation. He's been reading Berserk in the deluxe hardback form, and I've been reading Trigun that way. There is something nice about having a larger area for the art to sit on. There is something nice about sitting in a chair in your house if you're just like, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to indulge and I'm going to read this thing cover to cover.
Glass of scotch.
Exactly. Glass of scotch, put my smoking jacket on, which is also behind the screen, and then just enjoy it. But it's also meant that I'm not where I should be in terms of reading Maximum because it feels like more of an effort for me, weirdly, to be like, right, I'm going to get this giant hardback book. I'm going to sit down in a chair. I'm going to read it cover to cover.
I've got this image of you taking it down like an old dusty tome off a shelf, and you put it down and you do the big blow all the dust off it, like, wipe all the cobwebs away.
I do. There's always some like, Masonic chanting in the background when I pull it off the shelf. So it's just as I pull it off. It's great times. It's also why I don't do it. I have to pay the monks every time.
I get where you're coming from. It is, but I think it's more the collector's market has really boomed since the pandemic as well, right? So I think it's more so the collector's market. Also, is it wrong to pick up Girls in Dungeon? I love the anime, but it's not the one I'd point to be like that gets a hardback version. So yeah, I'm surprised more than anything, but I know what you mean about the whole reading experience being a bit like weird from cover to cover and spine to spine, shall we say?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen lots of people, right? Like the weirdest one in my head is obviously Vagabond. Vagabond has recently got these amazing deluxe editions that I admit look absolutely gorgeous.
I've got one.
But the Viz Big editions that would just come out before those were also really, really nice and have that kind of Dragon Ball continued spine thing going on. And they're really cheap at the moment because everyone's selling them off to buy the deluxe editions. And I'm like, why? Just read the books you have.
See, I nearly got those larger ones. And just before I took the plunge, because I think they were like 120 on eBay for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's when, is it Viz announced the deluxe edition? I was like,
yeah.
Oh, perfect. Like I mean, technically it's cheaper. It was cheaper to get one volume than it was to get the whole set sort of thing. But I was like, oh yeah, perfect. I can begin my journey with them releasing in sequence and everything else. But yeah, the oversized printing is really interesting, especially for the Seinen type as well. Like that, I can imagine Vinland Saga as well having the larger print being quite a spectacle, sort of thing.
I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I think even Dark Horse has just announced Lone Wolf and Cub. You have to remember, obviously, we used to read it in the tankobon format. They're published in magazines that are the size of phone books. Like the art is supposed to be viewed on larger pieces of paper, right? Like, it's supposed to be viewed at a larger dimension, and that's nice. But again, I don't know if I don't know. Maybe it's just where I'm at in terms of like trying to cram as much stuff as I possibly can behind this screen. But it's like I want the smallest version of it possible sometimes, just to have more room for more manga versus.
If space wasn't an issue, it's like the things that you would buy. Like I'm like the same. I wouldn't have gone. Like a lot of my manga wouldn't be living in the attic if I had the space to indulge in just owning manga.
Yeah.
Like, and I would probably still be buying it regularly if I actually had the space to put it, and I'd invest in decent books because I'd want people to see them.
Yeah, I get you. Okay.
So
I think there are some good omnibus versions. I know we're going on a bit of a tangent, but like the Fire Force omnibus is really cool. And there was another one I thought of that had a really good omnibus that I can't remember. But yeah, I think there are some good omnibus versions out there as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, price is a factor, right? Like I bought the first volume of Hellsing as, Dark Horse had just started putting them back out as like single volumes. And then I realized, oh, well, if I buy the 3 nice leather-bound hard books, it's actually cheaper for me to own Hellsing that way than it is for me to buy the singles. And so I'm probably going to do that. It'll also take up less space because while they are bigger that way, shelf-wise, at least you can put them there. But then there's weight. There's so many things to consider, guys, when you're trying to, stack the tallest tower of manga you possibly can into your house.
one day, hopefully, you will not be found beneath your collection.
I mean, if that's how I go, that's how I go.
They're gonna find you one page away from finishing something that you've loved.
I'd be like pressed like a flower. It's fine.
They find like a copy of Tsubasa Chronicles in your hand. They were like, he was really reading this?
They're like, wow, of all the books. Not there yet. I don't know, but Oh, I only just realized, by the way, that the World Chronicles exists. I thought I was like, right, I get all the omnibuses and I'm done. I'm like, no, now I need to hunt for singles the same way I needed to for Holic and Ray. The clamp hole never ends.
It never ends. It doesn't stop. But we should probably put a stop to this episode. But in case you did want to keep on going, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And there's a whole playlist available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and all other types of favorite podcast platforms. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this week. If people want to listen to more great manga details and hot takes and all these reviews and stuff, where could they find you?
Well, in the same podcast platform, Zane, and it's the podcast is called Manga Attack. You can find it wherever pods are cast. Again, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify. It's there. Also, I tend to post lots of stuff on Instagram and Blue Sky at the same place. So yeah, go check out if you are interested in more manga stuff. And thank you both for having me on the podcast. It's been a delight.
Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Excellent. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Susude, any final words of wisdom as always?
Stay hydrated, guys. It's really hot. If you're not in the UK, then I guess don't stay hydrated.
I'll throw the tea out.
Just look after yourself, guys.
Great stuff. Be kind, rewind, and yeah, we'll see you soon. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.